people are struggling. This is not what we need right now. And I heard loud and clear from businesses that they are concerned.
Wednesday, several business representatives came out to Salem for a roundtable with Governor Tina Kotek, as well as State Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner and a couple of economists. Concerns about the impacts of the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration was a hot topic.
So starting last week, we were impacted by this 10% tariff. We are on the hook for when we bring in and import these products. This will cost us millions of dollars.
Those costs getting passed off to consumers.
Our hand is being forced to pass on some of this increase to American consumers. The people already hurting the most with inflation when they go to grocery stores.
Despite the Trump administration pausing the higher individualized tariffs announced a few weeks ago, there is still a flat 10% that applies to all countries. For some like China, that percentage is up to 245% due to what the administration describes as retaliatory actions on China's part.
But the scale and speed at which these tariffs are coming down from the federal government and impacting markets across the globe has created a number of problems for Oregon businesses.
And if you think about a food product, by the time you see it on the store shelf, I mean, that had to start as a plant somewhere, had to start as a seed somewhere. So, you're planning sort of a year and a half out when you're making food products. And so it's hard to make quick changes if things change on a short-term basis.
Kotek stating if these tariffs were in effect last year, the state would have had a hefty price to pay.
Oregon had $28.2 billion in imported goods last year. If those 10% tariffs were in place last year, companies in Oregon would have had an additional $7.4 billion in taxes to pay.
Even really well-intentioned policies can have negative effects on companies.
The state treasurer pointing out how much this could impact families.
50% of families in Oregon cannot find $500 for an emergency. Economists estimate that the tariffs that have been imposed by the Trump administration would impact families on an average of $3,800 per year.
As for what can be done, while Kotek acknowledged actions by some like Governor Gavin Newsom to sue the Trump administration, Kotek says she's looking at what can be done in Oregon, with Steiner noting there's only so much they can do.
Right now, I don't have anything to share about our strategies, but we'll be looking at what California's doing, thinking about what we can be doing here. We want to protect our businesses, and it was interesting to see their strategy today, but we need to look at it and see if that's a good one for us.
Oregon government's capacity to help in this situation is limited by the fact that we're facing federal funding freezes at the same time that we're facing these tariffs.